Hi friends, today I'm going to talk about how to lower my Splunk cost using Upsolver. So if I want to load data from S3 to Splunk, I can use Upsolver to pre-aggregate some of the data so that I have smaller amount of data to be indexed into Splunk. This architecture also allows Athena to run SQL on top of your log data. If you haven't signed up for Upsolver for free yet, or if you have not deployed a data source, please see the links in the description below. Let's get started. First, let's create an Amazon S3 data output together. Click on Select. I'm going to give my data output a name. I'm going to call it Splunk Test. For this example, I'm going to output this as JSON, and the data source that I'm using is a VPC log data. Click on Next. From here, I can either work with my data in the UI or I can work with the SQL directly. Keep in mind that everything that I do in the UI will be reflected in the SQL and vice versa. Since personally I'm more comfortable with SQL, I'm going to use SQL for this demonstration. For the sake of time, I'm going to paste in the SQL that I'm using to transform my data. Keep in mind that Upsolver is ANSI compliant. So what I'm doing here is converting strings to numbers for bytes and packets and aggregate them for a period of time, also get the count for that period of time as well. Also keep in mind that when you create a data source, you can infer the data types. Click on Preview. The data looks good. Now I'm going to show you how to define how frequently Upsolver is going to write the data to the output. Click on the properties on the upper right-hand corner. Scroll down to scheduling and change the output interval from 1 minute to 5 minutes. That means all the data within the 5-minute window will be aggregated together and written to S3. Click on Update. Now I'm ready to configure my output. Click on Run. I'm going to define my output format as JSON and the S3 connection called May Upsolver Splunk. Click on Next. From here, I can define the compute cluster that I want to use and also the interval of the time I want to load the data from. If I keep the ending as never, then it's a continuous stream. Click on Deploy. Now that my data is being written to the output, I can keep an eye on the progress by clicking on the Progress tab. It takes a few minutes for the data start outputting. Meanwhile, let's start configuring our Splunk environment. You can easily start up a Splunk instance from AWS Marketplace. I'm linking the link in the description. Log into Splunk. Click on Find More Apps and search for AWS. Scroll all the way down and you will see Splunk add-on for Amazon Web Services. Click on Install. Use your Splunk.com username and password to log in. Check the terms and condition box and click on Login and Install. The install will take a little time and then restart your Splunk app. Go ahead and log back in Splunk and then click on the Splunk Enterprise logo. From here, click on the Splunk add-on for AWS. Click on the Configuration tab on the top and click on the Add button on the right. I'm going to give it an account name called May Upsolver. Make sure you remember this name because we're going to use it later for data input. Put in your AWS access key and secret key and click on Add. Click on Settings and Data Inputs on the top. We're going to create a data input. So scroll all the way down to the second page and find the input that's called AWS S3 and click on that. Click on New. First, I'm going to give my data input a name called May Upsolver Splunk. Then from the previous configuration, I have an account name called May Upsolver. And for the bucket name, I'm just going to copy and paste from my S3 environment called May Upsolver Splunk. Because I want to see my data as quickly as possible, I'm going to change my polling interval into 10. The default is 1800. For the key prefix, I'm going to copy and paste the folder structure from S3 directly into Splunk. Scroll down and check on More Settings. Under Source Type, make Set Source Type to From List and select JSON No Timestamp. Click on Next on the top and start searching. And wait for a moment. I can see the events being indexed into Splunk. Click on Data Summary. Click on Source Types and JSON No Timestamp. I can see that my events are being parsed very nicely from the aggregation and everything looks great. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.